Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time we've got the pleasure of watching Nallen playing in the Tier 5 French light tank, the infamous ELC Amx. Now this vehicle has been brought to my attention by, well, now channel famous players like Sundubujigae. But Nallen is going to show you that you don't actually have to be Korean, and it looks like he is indeed Swedish to be able to rock and roll in this little mega troll of a tank. Now the ELC Amx is in the worst possible matchmaking here. He is one of only 2 5 tanks in this game, well, on his side at least, and they are both light tanks. And remember, your light tanks get matched up as if they were a medium tank or a heavy tank or a tank destroyer of higher tier. And so tier 6 mediums can indeed meet tier 8 tanks. And boy, there are some scary tanks on the enemy team. There's a unicorn playing in one of those fabled clan reward tanks, the Chieftain T95, as well as a Pershing, a Super Pershing, a Ferdinand, and a Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger. So he's going to have to watch out for those indeed. So, what is this mysterious French little tank? And why does it seem to have such a long reload? That's because this vehicle has one of the biggest alpha damages on a low tier light tank. Tier 5, but packing a 90mm, giving it 240 average damage, meaning that he was able to put a big old hit into that VK3002M. Now, of course, the LC Amx has its downsides. Its aim time is absolutely god-awful. What is it exactly? The aim time is 2.9 seconds, meaning that you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, and then finally you might be able to put out one shot. But hell, at least the rate of fire on this tank isn't very good. It fires 5 rounds a minute. There are many tanks in the game that do 490 alpha damage with 5 rounds a minute, let alone doing 240 in the ELC Amx. Now Nallen's doing one thing that I guess is kind of a bit of a dick move here, but also that Skoda T25 should know better. He's going forwards for absolutely no reason, and there's nothing worse than being in a very fragile light tank and having a medium tank sitting behind you, shooting through the bush, getting spotted, and then you taking the hit for him even though you weren't spotted. So Nallen has a setup that I think I'd like on my ELC Amx. He's using binoculars, he's using a camo net to maximize his camo rating when he's stationary, and really binoculars on the ELC Amx is almost a no-brainer. The view range on this vehicle is not very good at 360, and so that means you really do need your binoculars to be able to spot your opponents at a great distance like this. And this is just perfect. This is the ELC Amx dream. You're spotting a tier 8 tank, a tier 7 tank, and a tier 6 tank, and you're just allowing the whole of your team, who would more or less be useless behind you, to be very efficient. Nallen confirms his first kill there on a KV2, and now starts to aim at the third. Now, no, he's going to change now to a KV3. Are we going to see a KV4 here as well somewhere? Surely the next kill has to be on a KV4. Get it? KV2, KV3? I'll leave right now. Anyway, he secures the kill on that tier 7 Soviet heavy tank and turns his attention to the Jagdpanther, and it looks like the stars align, as Nallen was able to take 3 tanks out there, each within the reload. But you know what? It wasn't so much of the fact that he kind of stole those kills, and I don't really think that you can call it kill stealing when he's killing tanks that are 2 tiers higher than him in a light vehicle. But he was definitely spotting those tanks and allowing his big glut of friends all the way behind to actually be efficient in this game. And that's what you have to do in your light tanks, especially in your light tanks when you're in 45%ers against unicorns in their top tier vehicles. That bush that he was using on Prokhorovka is certainly one of the bushes that you can use to heavily influence this map. And when you think about his vision loadout, i.e. using binoculars, it's all the more important that he does find these static bush locations rather than just bombing it around when his binoculars wouldn't work, and without coated optics you're not really going to be able to spot too far. So he finds a tier 8 German self-propelled gun on the enemy team, fires one. Will he still be there? No, not quite. That's a bit of a disappointment there. He would have absolutely loved to have taken out that self-propelled gun. And that's because the ELC Amx's armor is absolutely god-awful, 25mm at its thickest, meaning that if an artillery splashes pretty much anywhere near you, or any kind of a round of 60mm plus hits your tank, it's going to be able to overmatch. Well, 75mm if we're talking about the turret, 160mm if we're talking about the hull here. So a good shot there into the Pershing, 230 damage, brings up his total to 1,162 within the first 5 minutes of this game. And you know what? That's not a bad result for the ELC AMX. I know many ELC AMX drivers would be absolutely stoked with the kind of result that Nallen has had here, picking up his 3 kills on higher tier tanks. Gosh, he's not too far off getting an All-X medal. If he can just kill another vehicle of tier 7 plus, he'll be picking up one of those lovely rare medals, the All-X medal, which lots of light tank drivers like to get. So he puts in a shot in the side of the Ferdinand there. Maybe this is his All-X medal waiting. And the Ferdinand still got his armor to the side, so Nallen should be able to go through his side armor here. We won't see right now if he did manage to damage the Ferdinand, and so he pushes forwards and begins to spot again. Now from this position, I'm pretty sure that if he fires again, he's going to get spotted. So he's not going to do that. He's just going to, again, give his team the opportunity. But is the artillery too tasty? Yes, indeed. It looks like the artillery is too tasty. And Nallen decides, let's make a move. Oh, my word. All the shells just whizzing past him. I think that was 4 hits that nearly took out one. Could easily have taken out his vehicle there. If the Ferdinand's using that 128mm gun, that's almost a guarantee kill on the ELC AMX. If the KV2 hits him with the 152mm, again a guaranteed kill. When you've only got 400 hit points and pretty much no armor that's worth mentioning, you really need to use your fantastic mobility in the LC AMX. And when we're talking about fantastic mobility, do you know what the power to weight ratio on this tank is? It's nearly 40. It's absolutely ludicrous. Now Nallen is going to show players who are not knowledgeable about the bush mechanics in World of Tanks. When you push forwards into the bush, you can spot your enemies. Now when you pull back behind the bush, and the bush is not transparent, then you can fire through it without exposing your vehicle. Nallen hasn't managed to penetrate the Churchill on the enemy team here, that tier 6 British heavy tank with his standard rounds, so now he is loading his APCR rounds. Each time going forwards into the bush to be able to spot his opponents, and then pulling back behind the bush while he still has vision on them and shooting through completely safely. This is Bushwork 101 for everyone who does not know how to do this. So the standard rounds on this vehicle, 170mm of penetration. The premium rounds, 248. That is a very big difference. We're talking about 50% extra penetration here on the premium rounds on this vehicle. It really does make and break these kind of frontal engagements, at least on the ELC AMX. So just beautiful work here. Now 2 or is that 3 rounds into the Churchill? Not entirely sure if he's fired one blind, but he is just picking apart this higher tier heavy tank, completely outplaying him by using game mechanics. There's a third penetration to the Churchill, and this KV2 decides to venture forwards. He's got to be careful now, because if the KV2 gets to the side of the bush, he will be able to see Nallen past it. Remember that the bush is only going to be able to cover you from, obviously, the front, and if the KV2 does come to the side, it's likely that he's going to be able to catch a glimpse of the sneaky mega troll that is Nallen right now. So having finished off pretty much the entirety of that Churchill by himself, now he's going to turn his attention to the Ferdinand. And basically this is just absolutely beautiful bushwork here, really. What more can you say? This is how you can outplay your opponents. And it doesn't matter if you're in a tier 5 tank and you've got a 90mm gun and you're shooting at a heavily armored German tank destroyer at tier 8. That's not too much of a big deal. That KV2 does actually manage to flank, and Nallen's sixth sense goes off. Oh, the Ferdinand just misses his vehicle, and he decides to make a move. And just look at the mobility of this vehicle, 65 kilometers an hour top speed limit, that crazy power to weight ratio that I talked about. Shotguns the side of the KV2, shutting him down, and now turns his attention back to the Ferdinand. Yep, that power to weight ratio nearly at 40. The only downside to this tank is the track traverse is 38 degrees a second, which is not excellent. But the ground resistances, considering that power to weight ratio, are actually still pretty good at 1.2 or 1.4 on hard and medium, and 2.4 on soft. So now Nallen has got this side of the Ferdinand, catching him unaware. The Ferdinand just like a helpless, flapping fish out of water right now. Oh gosh, the artillery, the M44 on the enemy team narrowly missing Nallen, but he shuts down the tier 8 German tank destroyer. Alright, that's your All-X medal done, right? I think that was his third kill on tanks that are at least 2 tiers higher than him this game. Unless I've not been counting. Oh no, gosh, he also killed the GW Tiger Pig on the enemy team. I wonder if that actually counts towards an Orlix medal, or if you have to kill tanks and not self-propelled guns. Anyway, Nallen is now on 7 kills, and unfortunately for him, that goddamn chieftain, that unicorn on the enemy team, has been pushing through his team on the northern eastern flank. He's picked up 4 kills, and now I guess he smells an ELC AMX, the only thing between him and a Top Gun. But Nallen knows that this unicorn is the only thing between him and a Radley Walters medal. If he manages to connect this shot, this is a pressure moment. Perfect! It flies true right into the tier 8 British premium, well, reward medium tank, taking him out the game. And, well, let's just say the unicorn is not very happy about that in chat. We're just going to ignore that. Alright, so now he's got to deal with a Pershing with the M44 supporting him. One of the lovely things about that moment was that the chieftain didn't actually spot Nallen there. Maybe because of his camo net, possibly because he fired with maybe a bush in the way. Should we just take a quick look at where the wreck is on the chieftain here? It might have been these bushes preventing vision when he made the shot. But either way, all that really matters is that Nallen is not exposed, and that means that he might be able to get the jump on the Pershing. This makes it all the more impressive that Nallen has not actually taken a shot so far this game. He's got all 400 of his hit points left, and so that means that he can take a shot from the enemy tier 8 American medium tank. This is touch and go stuff. The Pershing is on 200, is that 252 hit points? He's going to have to watch out here. He has to high roll to be able to kill the Pershing, just a slightly above average roll to be able to kill the Pershing in a single shot. There he is, auto aim. Puts one in, gets spotted, but oh gosh, the Pershing is left on 3% of his hit points, 29 hit points to be exact. Let's get out of there. Remember, your reload is much longer than the Pershing. You can't afford to probably stay there and take a shot from him. He didn't really know if he was going to miss or not. Evasive maneuvers. Now this is really the important shot of the game. Will he be able to take out the Pershing? Does the Pershing spot him? The Pershing just catches a glimpse of him, but it doesn't matter. He takes an APCR round from the Pershing. I guess he really needed that premium round. 284 penetration done, and not too far off 280 millimeters of penetration on that Pershing's premium rounds. But Nallen has done the hard work, and his artillery is off dueling with the M44. It sounds like the M44 missed Nallen, so it should be an easy kill for the Lorraine on his team. But you know what? The Lorraine is actually being a really nice guy here. It looks like he is going to be feeding Nallen the 10th kill of the game. This is kind of a role reversal, right? Our artillery scouting for light tanks now. Nallen has loaded a high explosive round. Remember, higher alpha damage than the 240 on the AP round. It flies true right through the side. 280 damage done to that tier 6 American self-propelled gun. And Nallen takes down one of the best rounds I have seen ever in the ELC AMX. Nallen was absolutely ice cold under pressure this game. He did absolutely everything that he could to take this one down, killing multiple vehicles on the enemy team. 3 tiers higher than him, securing 10 out of 15 kills in a vehicle with the worst possible matchmaking. Nallen, congratulations to you on an absolute monster game in the ELC AMX, and it pleased me to see a Swede giving the infamous Sundubujigae a run for his money. So Nallen received 60,000 credits this game, and he does not run a premium account and still made 20,000 credits. Oh my gosh. That is a double without a premium account? How much base experience points did Nallen get? 2,576. That's absolutely ludicrous. And that puts him in 3rd place of the top experience of all time in this vehicle. Unsurprisingly, behind the Korean master Sundubujigae. Nallen secured an Orlix medal in this game for destroying 3 or more enemy tanks or tank destroyers with a light tank in one single battle, as well as also receiving the Pools medal for destroying 10 out of 15 of the enemy team. And unsurprisingly, a patrol duty, because he wasn't just kicking ass himself and doing the top damage on his team, he was also enabling his team to shoot the targets he was spotting. Nearly 4,000 spotting damage, in addition to the 3,300 that he did himself. I guess Nallen must want to give a big shout out to the Lorraine 155 on his team. Raz van Baubau also had a fantastic game, nearly 2,800 damage, finishing second on his team in damage behind Nallen, and showed some unnecessary but nevertheless absolutely lovely sportsmanship at the end of the game, as he did feed Nallen that 10th kill, and that was his first ever pools medal. Congratulations to you. So Nallen, thank you so much for uploading this on replays.QuickyBaby.com, and I've got a bonus code from Tankfest just this year, which has an Excelsior, a garage slot, and also a premium day that I'm going to be sending to your World of Tanks account. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see the original Mega Troll, aka Sundubujigae, then simply click through up here or use that more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to see a plethora of other awesome ELC AMX replays. And let me know in the comments down below who did it best, Nallen or Sundubujigae. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.